Welcome to Entry Point Faith, where every week we discover fresh meaning in the world so you can find faith your way. And now, please welcome your host, Pastor Nancy Lafferty.
Celebrated ancient Greek playwright Sophocles wrote these words in the year 406 BC. One word frees us of all the weight and pain of life. That word is love. Love. We write songs about it. We create game shows to help us find it, download apps to help us one day be lost in its spell. All across the world, we are united by love. Love is a basic need that we all have. Humans are not meant to wander through life alone. In the classic American play, Our Town, Mrs. Gibbs tells us, people are meant to go through life 2 by 2. 'Tain't natural to be lonesome. A passage in Ecclesiastes reminds us, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls down and has no one to help them up. We are social creatures, and love is the glue that binds us together. So, I'm going to dedicate the entire month of February to investigating love. Why do we need it? How do we get it? And what do we do with it? Today, we will examine how we view love in our country. What are some of the rituals and expectations that are part of what I like to call love American style? In future weeks, I will be chatting with you about infatuation and then what happens to us when we lose love or suddenly find love all over again. And then in the last week of February, my message will focus on how love changes everything about us. When our youngest son, Luke, was in 2nd grade, he told us he had a girlfriend. I asked, what do boyfriends and girlfriends do in 2nd grade? He very seriously leaned in and replied, when we're walking down the hall in the boys' line and the girls' line, we try to stand across from each other. And thus began a lifetime of rituals and expectations for Luke in his pursuit of love. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was in grade school, we often received a very important handwritten document that let us girls know that a boy liked us, and he wanted to see if we liked him back. It was a piece of paper that said, do you like me? Check the box. And, of course, there were 2 choices. Yes, no. We checked the box and sent the note back. Now, we didn't really do anything together after that box was checked, except to smile at each other sheepishly every now and then. And maybe when it was time to go outside and play during recess, we might end up playing a game on the same team. And then when we got older, around 6th or 7th grade, the girls got a ring from their boyfriends, and we promptly wrapped that ring in Angora yarn. And, of course, we wore that ring all day long at school, but we slipped that ring off when we got home because some of us had parents that told us we were not allowed to go study until we were 15 or 16 years old. Things have changed quite a bit since then, but let's go even further back in time to examine some of the rituals and expectations about love in American history. In colonial America, there were very low expectations and very few rituals. The early colonists didn't have time to spend on love or courtship. They were just trying to survive. Courtship involved finding a woman of childbearing-ish age who had survived the previous winter. The man plowed things and kept threats of attack at bay, and the woman kept the vermin out of the gruel that she whipped up to feed her ever-growing family. As things became more settled in the New World in the 18th century, the American patriarchal home was at its peak. Women literally belonged to either their fathers or their husbands. Marriage was a business agreement that men made regarding their sons' inheritance and their daughters' dowry. The goal was to marry wealth and property together. The people were incidental. But then the Revolutionary era came, which released the fathers from control of future alliances, and young people began to seek out their own relationships. And by the beginning of the 20th century, everyone simply expected love to end up in marriage. Many of us had at least one couple experience by the time we graduated from high school, and if we're honest, we didn't always handle that relationship with much respect or dignity or kindness. Those are the practice years, and hopefully we don't repeat the same mistakes that we had when we were kids as we enter into couple relationships as adults. As adults, we meet, we feel attracted to each other, we fall in love, and we usually are expected to honor that love with a marriage commitment. It's our parents and our families that expect that most of all. It makes the relationship more respectable, more legit. There's that expectation that if the relationship lasts, there will be a proposal, a ring to cement the commitment, and then a wedding that will transport the couple to wedded bliss, where they will live happily ever after. Now let's take a few minutes and break down those steps just a little bit deeper. Every single expectation that I just mentioned has grown to mammoth, incredibly expensive proportions today. No longer is a proposal just a moment between the couple. It's now a filmed event performed in front of family or friends. In fact, guys get to practice for that day much earlier than proposal day, when they perform what has now become known as the promposal in high school. Posters are made, surprises are planned. Again, the gentleman is encouraged to make this request as public as possible. No more quick stop by somebody's locker between classes to get a date for the prom. Instead, friends of the young lady must be invited to watch and film the surprise event in the middle of the cafeteria or out on the football field. But let's get back to our adult couple. During the proposal, the guy gets down on one knee oftentimes, presumably to suggest the same respect for and allegiance to his future bride that a man kneeling before royalty would offer. And as he kneels, he usually offers a ring to his future bride as a symbol of their commitment, usually a pretty expensive one. Or if he has one available, he might offer a valuable ring that was previously worn by someone in his family. The moment that ring is on her finger, the wedding plans begin. Again, we are no longer encouraged to slip away quietly and privately to the justice of the peace. Oh no, we must go big. There are invitations and flowers to order, a band and wedding planner to hire, an expensive venue to resolve and to reserve, and multiple layers of costly events leading up to the big day. The selection of the wedding party, the purchase of the perfect wedding gown, bridal showers, bachelor parties, and lots of food tasting. On the wedding day, there's a wedding cake usually and a first dance by the couple. Now, the majority of ceremonies, regardless of differences in culture, ethnicity, or lifestyle, contains a bit of a processional, and most receptions end with some kind of gesture to send off the newlyweds in style. Here is what we, still today in our country, expect from people who say they love each other. We expect that they will be nice to each other, that they will be faithful to each other, and that they will be opposite genders. We think they will meet each other's parents, and maybe even the parents will meet each other, and everyone will approve of the relationship. We expect that there will be a proposal with a reasonable engagement period, followed by a beautiful, lavish wedding. They will live in separate houses until they're married, and once they are married, they will share a last name, have children, and live together in the same house for the rest of their days. That is love, American style. But what we know is that isn't necessarily true. Many couples do not have children. Many couples do not marry. Many couples do not live in the same house. Many couples don't share a last name. Lots of couples don't fit that mold. But they love each other deeply and respectfully. So why in the world do we have all these rituals? Are they outdated practices that we should stop doing? I can't answer that for anyone but myself, but I do see some value in these rituals. Despite our changing times, rituals give us a bit of structure, a bit of security, and some procedures to follow. The ritual of having guests attend a wedding has some merit. We feel supported and celebrated by our tribe. But we don't want our culture's expectations and rituals to limit our ability to love, or to cause people to feel so overwhelmed that they end their relationship. I fear sometimes that our big ticket weddings keep people uncommitted. I fear that our culture often puts far more emphasis on the rituals and the money spent, rather than helping people try to figure out how to love each other better. But here's what I do know. Love is the highest expression of compassion. It's the strongest change agent in the world. Love heals us. It grows us up and it makes us better people. Love is God within us. I know undeniably that because of the love God has for me and for all of us, I have been able to take the high road sometimes, to offer grace to others, and to have patience for others because I have love within me. And that's directly from God. These are not actions that I could ever have taken on my own. My selfish nature would never allow me to love others the way I can because of God's love for me and through me. So, wherever we are with dating, expectations, marriage, or any of this, let's don't lose the love part. The ability to love another person and to receive love from that person is a personal, private miracle. Let's all be grateful for those in our lives who love us and those in our lives whom we love. Amen.
Thanks for joining us this week on Entry Point Faith. The Entry Point Faith community meets every other Sunday at Connor Prairie in Fishers, Indiana. For more information or to join in person, visit entrypointonline.org. Entry Point Faith is a part of the Switchpoint Media Network. Find a variety of podcasts by visiting switchpoint.media.